We can talk about the Dallas Mavericks and their recent game with the Minnesota Timberwolves. And let me just go ahead and pull up the graphic right here. So as you can see, the final score was 124 to 103, and the entire game, it was never close. And again, it was really never close throughout any moment of this game. Luka Doncic had 20 points in the first quarter. There was a point in time where the Timberwolves as a team only had 3 more points than Luka Doncic. And this man was on a mission to just completely embarrass the Timberwolves in their home court. This was somewhat a lot the commentators during the game compared this game to when Dallas completely destroyed the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference semifinals a few years ago, because they played game 7 at Phoenix, and Luka completely destroyed the opposing team. He tends to do that a lot when this is a common thing for him to do. And it's the game was never close because the Mavericks, they jumped out immediately behind Luka's 20 points, and as the game continued to go on, the Mavericks, they never blew that lead, and the Timberwolves never came close to beating them. And I'll just go ahead and pull up the rest of the box scores right here before I continue and I show Kyrie and Luka's stats, but let's just go right ahead. Let me just open this up. So the rest of the again, the team, it was never close throughout any moment, and Dallas outscored the Timberwolves 35-19 in the first quarter, and again, they just withheld that lead throughout the rest of the game. The only times that they ever got outscored was only in the third and in the fourth quarter, and they only got outscored by 8 points. Meanwhile, the point differential between 35 points and 19 is substantial, and it's much greater than the rest of the other quarters that they played. And so just looking at the rest of the stats, the Western Conference Finals MVP is Luka Doncic. He ended the game with 36 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists, easily one of his greater performances for the Mavericks. And I didn't put the field goal percentage in the stats for this game, but he shot 14 for 22 from the field and 6 of 10 from 3. So he was on a mission. That man, he was not about to be stopped. Now, Kyrie Irving, he also wasn't going to be stopped in this game. He ended with 36 points, 4 rebounds, and 5 assists. And he shot 14 for 27 from the field and 4 of 10 from the 3-point line. So these two, throughout the rest of the series, Luka Doncic here, these are his averages. Now you can't really see, but the bottom number on the bottom right is his 3-point percentage, 43% from the 3. He shot 47% from the field, and he averaged 32 points per game, 8.2 rebounds per game, and 9.6 assists. And he also averaged 2.2 steals per game. Now, one of the things that was a little bit of a bad or a scar on Luka's game, or a bad note on Luka's game, it was his defense. That was the one thing that he got so much criticism for, and that is the one thing that he's really a little inconsistent in. But in this series, averaging 2.2 steals per game is, it's incredibly helpful, especially coming from a guard that isn't really expected to do or have an impact on the defensive side of the ball. So the fact that he was able to average 2.2 steals per game, along with almost averaging a 30-point triple-double, is nothing short of impressive. Kyrie Irving, he also averaged very good numbers as well. Now, unfortunately, it's not going to shorten properly unless I just move the window. I'm trying to see if I can get the stats in a good enough view for you guys to see them, but I mean, yeah, that's a little bit better. You can see that he averages 37% from the 3-point line, and he also shot 49% from the field, and his true shooting numbers are 58%, which again, these are really good numbers as well. This is not bad at all. This is like you can't ask for a better performance from Kyrie Irving or any other second option in a kind of series like this. Like this is a very great game coming in from Kyrie. And there's hold on, let me just see if I can center this a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. So that looks a lot better. So, I mean, averaging these kind of numbers, I mean, they're great numbers, but it's clear cut, like, between the two, which one deserves the Western Conference Finals MVP and which one deserves and which one is the second option. Because even most of the time in the series, like the games that they would win would be the games that they both dropped like 30 plus points. Like they both played phenomenally in these series. Like Kyrie was a lot better than what I thought. I wouldn't have thought that they would make it so far into the postseason, to the point where now they're in the NBA Finals. And I also didn't expect the Timberwolves to put up this kind of a fight in the most important game of the season for them. Like, they didn't win a single home game throughout the entirety of the series. And the fact that they weren't able to at least take one is very disappointing. Now, a lot of the blame really like falls on Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. And Anthony Edwards, I mean, they both had 28 points, Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. And Karl Anthony Towns ended with 12 rebounds as well, and Ant ended with 9. But their shooting, like, I mean, Karl Anthony Towns' shooting was a little bit inefficient, especially from 3. Considering how he calls himself the best big man shooter of all time, going 1 for 6 in one of the most important games of your entire career, which determined whether the series would go on or whether the series would end in an elimination game, that's a very bad performance. Like, I'm shooting that poorly, just the shooting, because I mean, 28 points. What more can you ask? And the rest of the team, they didn't really. Naz Reid didn't show up in this game whatsoever, and Kyle Anderson, he didn't show up in this game either. Rudy Gobert was a little bit. Obviously, he was quiet offensively, but that's not really like the point of his game. And the real big problem here was just the fact that the 2 star players didn't have an outstanding game. That they really needed an outstanding game to be able to stop Luka and Kyrie in this specific game, because like they were on a mission to just beat them. And the rest of the team, like, I'm not going to say that they didn't play well, obviously, but it's like, considering how Luka and Kyrie were like taking a majority of the shots, it wasn't like anyone else was going off for like, because the most points scored by another player that wasn't Kyrie or Luka was by PJ Washington, and he ended with 12. So, like, that's what I mean by like, none of the rest of the players were going off like that. But, I mean, aside from that, it's they still make it to the finals. It was a very good performance from Luka, a very good performance from Kyrie. They played great overall in the series. They've played great overall in the postseason as a whole. And like, I mean, a lot of people didn't really think this was going to work. I also didn't think it was going to work. But I mean, this is sort of what Kyrie is like used to playing with, and this is what he's had the most success with. I mean, you could compare Luka's game and LeBron's game like similarly. Like, they both get triple doubles. They're both great scoring options, and they both know how to produce offensively. And you could compare like LeBron and Kyrie's stint with the Cavs to like this 1 year with the Dallas Mavericks, because like Luka's known for getting triple doubles, same as LeBron. So it's like they're kind of similar, and Kyrie is used to being a second option to LeBron. So it's like really it's almost like he's back in square one, which is kind of ironic. But with that, we are out of time for this first segment. So now I will go ahead and go into the second segment, where I talk about Duke basketball and the possibility of them joining the SEC. So I will be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on their fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind?